Some of the following is a dramatisation of a beer brew that took place on the 12th of July 2015 at Hallertau in Auckland, New Zealand. Although some of the ingredients used have not been disclosed to protect the privacy of the brewers involved, the events that happen are all told exactly as they unfolded out of respect for those who survived the brew day. All hail craft beer!
Fuck you!
It's a coming together of the peoples.
Mate, it's living the dream.
Collaborations is great. How can you not enjoy hanging out with people of like mind and brewing beer? It's awesome.
It's an Intergalactic Imperial India Pale Ale.
What is the Four Horsemen of the Hopocalypse?
Over the last decade or so, the craft beer scene has exploded across the planet. Here in New Zealand, a groundbreaking beer emerged 4 years ago, which brought with it a high alcohol level matched with next level hop crazy flavour. That beer is known as the Four Horsemen of the Hopocalypse. In order to fully understand the scope of a beer such as the Four Horsemen, we must first take a journey. A journey
Into hop madness.
The Horseman beer boasted a hefty 10% ABV at its inaugural brew in 2010. This year, 2015, sees an insane jump to 14%. But in order to reach such lofty percentages, some crafty brewing is required, and sacrifices must also be made. To best demonstrate the size of this ale, it is easiest to do a comparison with a commercial brewery. For this demonstration, we will be using a 2,400 litre batch to compare the difference. A middle-of-the-road New Zealand draft beer from a big commercial brewery might use 375 grams of malt to 500 grams or half a kilo of hops, whereas the Horseman beer would use 1.5 tonnes of malt to 100 kilos of hops. With a beer like the Horseman, no expense is spared and a premium is placed on the best possible flavour at all costs.
That's like shit.
It's a beer that none of us would make by ourselves because it's not commercially viable. The loss is just, we lose more than half the batch just through the sheer hop volume sucking up the liquid. It doesn't make any sense at all because there's no money to be made in it. It's a beer that we have fun making together. People that care about beer get an opportunity to taste something that's absolutely extreme and that you'd only ever do it if you were home brewing.
On top of the high ingredients factor, there is also a lot of beer loss due to the fact that the hops will act as a sponge and soak up nearly 6 times their weight in water. So, when using 100 kilograms of hops in the Horseman's beer, they will lose approximately 600 litres of beer, leaving them with 1,800 litres. This is not an economical beer to create, is probably slightly insane to attempt, and should not be tried at home. But as some of the Horsemen say...
Hops.
Hops.
Hops. Hops.
Who are the Horsemen?
The Horsemen are made up of conquest, famine, slaughter, and death. Lovely names, I know.
Yummy.
You can taste the hops. This year's will be even better. That's what I reckon. We were thinking about making some wort. Being one of the Horsemen, I take that as a very important aspect of my role as a brewer.
You always learn something from another brewer, no matter what. When you're sitting down having a beer with them, or you're in a brew house with them, everyone does stuff slightly different. Everyone in the brewing world comes from slightly different backgrounds.
Last year we overloaded the mash tun and the mash spewed out all over the place and it was crazy, it was dangerous, but it was exciting.
With my involvement at Fork and Brewer and Malt House and working with Kelly on a day-to-day basis, working with these other guys as well and bringing their thoughts and processes, and everybody's got a slightly different slant on how they do things. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the thing I reckon that's really good about collaborating with other brewers is showing off how cool you are, you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own ideas about the best way to brew and ingredients to use and, you know, stuff like that. And obviously I've got my own ideas. Being able to share that with other people, like say you've got somebody who's a traditional brewer, you know, they see the things that I do and the way that I do it, particularly the way that you do it, and it just sort of, you know, blows their mind.
It's really about having fun with your mates. That's what it's all about.
So the collaborative process, it's all about, togetherness, bringing together of ideas and inspirations.
Whoa! Hey Steve, you gotta have a look at this, man.
This year, Joseph managed the mash, half as much time, twice as much volume, twice as much alcohol, twice as much fun.
We work well together. We've all got a common goal of making the biggest, most extreme beer we think we can with hops in it.
Everyone's heard the saying, too many cooks spoil the broth. It's even more true with brewing. Basically, everyone just gets drunk and sort of stops paying attention, and what happens is what happens.
Can anyone make a beer bigger and hoppier and crazier and bitterer?
You've got to have passion, you've got to have pride in what you do, and you've got to sort of bring your own knowledge to the party, You'll all have slightly different ideas, you'll all have slightly different experiences, particularly when it comes to big hoppy beers.
Brewing with the Four Horsemen's sweet. Everybody's got, we're all on the same wavelength and we're all after the same end result, We want the biggest, baddest beer you can make. It's all peachy, mate. It's all peachy, like Amarillo.
Is that responsible?
Oh, it smells good. Looks like mud, but smells pretty awesome. Can we? Can we do this? Can we make this like massive IPA and get it balanced and get it drinkable and make it so it's not too messed up? I think every year we've brewed it, we've sort of improved on that.
It's about a boundary that you're trying to push in terms of hops, alcohol, but also good times, The guys involved with it are just, down to earth, good dudes, and it's more about getting them together, having a few drinks. But while we're doing it, we also try and have fun and get that boundary pushed out a little bit further.
The thing I like about the collaborative process is just different people's ideas coming together, and it's not always a case of compromise or whatever. Sometimes it's like, I'll have an idea and Kelly have an idea, and from that an entirely new idea will come out of it.
Hopocalypse. Hopocalypse.
Continuing forward, if we can kind of master the triple IPA and be the group of weirdos that manages to do that, then hey, it's a good thing.
Thus far, we've only produced this one beer, but there are plans in the mix for the Horsemen to come up with other creations, which again will push the boundaries and really sort of change people's perceptions and what they think beer can be.
It's going to be in the bottle, which is going to be exciting for those that haven't actually made it to a release party or where it's been on tap, which has been very limited.
A lot more people are going to stop and think, well, what beer am I drinking? Who makes this beer? And actually, how does this beer make me feel?
Hops, and more hops, hops, and more hops, 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 hops.
Have a bunch of fun, try and break the brewery, and get some beer out of it at the end of the day. That's fucking sweet ass.